I'm Chris Duke, and this is Motorz. For the past few episodes of Motorz, we've been focusing on performance upgrades on our 2008 Mustang GT. One area that we haven't touched on yet is the drivetrain. We're going to change all that today by showing you how to install the Leonard Racing SpyderShaft aluminum drive shaft. It's 33 pounds lighter than stock with less restriction on the motor, which in return provides more power to the wheels and also increases fuel efficiency at the same time. In addition, we're also going to show you how to install the Steeda Tri-Ax short throw shifter, which reduces your throw by 2 inches with firmer shifts and a guarantee to make third gear. You can see just by looking at this bad boy, it's a lot shorter and a lot stronger than our stock counterpart. Now, while we normally install everything here in the Motorz shop, this particular install requires a lot of heavy camera work below the vehicle. So we're going to take it to BP's garage in San Diego to borrow their lift and show you how this can be done with common hand tools. The tools you're going to need for this installation are a torque wrench and a 27mm socket, a breaker bar, various socket wrenches and sockets and wrenches, a gear puller, various extensions, and an impact gun. That could be air or electric. To get to the shifter, you have to remove the drive shaft anyway. That's why we're doing both in this episode. So to start, take off these 12mm bolts right up here near the transmission. Start with a breaker bar. Then you can hand crank these off. After you're done with the front, hit up the rear. There's 6 10mm bolts back here, so get out your breaker bar and do the same thing. With the front and rear bolts removed from the drive shaft, take these 13mm bolts out from the carrier bearing. Use some pull jacks or some buddies to hold that drive shaft before it comes down. With a buddy helping you, wiggle this drive shaft on out of here. There it goes. Once you've got your drive shaft fully removed, you need to remove this pinion nut from the differential. Now, we did try a breaker bar, that failed, so you're going to need an impact wrench to handle this job. Using a gear puller, remove the flange and put the new flange on quickly and drop some oil down in there. Now that we've got the drive shaft completely removed, we can work on the shifter. So inside the vehicle, take your shifter knob and turn this counterclockwise until it pops off. And once that's off, you can pop off this boot, and there's just clips on all the sides, so just kind of pop those up gently. And then that comes off just like that. Then there's a rubber boot down in here. You got to lift that up. Just kind of pry that out. You can see it's kind of pinched down in there. Get that up. Just like that. Using a 10mm deep socket, remove these 2 nuts underneath the shifter, as well as this 13mm nut holding on the linkage. On the passenger side of the transmission, there's a 10mm bolt near the front of the shifter brace. Use an open-ended 10mm wrench to remove that. Once you've got all your nuts removed, you can remove your shifter from the bottom. After attaching this arm that comes with the kit, these 2 nuts, take your boot off your old shifter and put it on your new one. Once you've got your new shifter fully assembled, reinstall it into the car. Now once you're done tightening down your new shifter, it's time to return our attention to the drive shaft. And we're going to put the new one on, starting with the pinion nut, some red Loctite. Once we've got that on there, we're going to tighten that down to 125 foot-pounds. Yay! Now install your new light aluminum drive shaft, starting from the rear. Alright, and I can just hang out. At the front of the drive shaft, install new 12mm bolts with Loctite. Using your original 12mm bolts, put some red Loctite on those and attach the rear of your drive shaft. Make sure you top off your differential with some gear oil because you will have lost quite a bit. Finally, put the boot back on and take it out for a test drive.
Brought to you by Hellwig Products, quality suspension products for over 60 years.
Known for increasing both horsepower and torque on any vehicle, changing out the headers like these from JBA Headers of San Dimas, California will not only give you an improved throttle response and torque gain, but also help increase fuel economy and reduce underhood temperatures. Offered in both 14-gauge steel or 409 stainless steel with chrome plating or ceramic coatings, JBA headers are available for most applications and simply bolt on without any additional exhaust modifications. JBA headers are the best bang for your buck when it comes to low-end torque. For more information, check out www.jbaheaders.com. Now, the shifting and performance gains on our Mustang are very noticeable, with faster and firmer shifts making third gear much easier to grab. Changing out the drive shaft was also noticeable, with a slight power band increase and less restriction to the motor. Jason also achieved a 4 miles per gallon increase on a recent trip to Las Vegas, pulling off an overall 27 miles per gallon with the AC on, driving about 80 miles per hour with a fully loaded car. Now, one point we want to stress regarding the installation of the flange is the importance of the recommended torque and setting the flange correctly into place. You cannot just slip the flange on and torque it down. You have to feel for play and wiggle room within the flange, eliminating it slowly while turning and torquing it at the same time. If you don't do this properly, you can over-torque the flange and bearings inside, blowing your entire rear end, and you don't want to do that. So be careful and take your time on that part. Now, that does it for this episode of Motorz. For more information about the products we installed today, head on over to www.motorz.tv and check out all the notes below the player and more videos at our website. This particular install requires as well as this 13 millimeter excitement in the air, buzz, selling product. Simply bolt on without any additional exhaust. Show day, show day, yeah.
Motorz Prime.